Hello, Virgo, and welcome to my channel, Tarot by Gabrielle. This is going to be a general reading for Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus signs, looking at your connection to the person that you are dealing with and needing to learn the most from right now. As always, we're looking at all three sides of it. We've got your energy toward it, their energy toward it, and the energy in between it. The concept being that there are three sides to every story. So looking at your version of the truth, / your perspective, their perspective, in this higher level, unbiased perspective in the middle, really looking at what is the purpose of this connection and what is the best way to move forward in order to align further with your higher self. As always, I've gone ahead and pulled the overall energy for the reading and clarified those messages, which we'll jump into in just a second. We have a different tarot deck that we'll be jumping into for each side of this connection, and then I've already shuffled, and then I have the advice deck that I'll be using in the extended already shuffled as well. Any information on the extended reading or on booking a personal reading with me is in the description box below. Last thing, please remember these are general readings. They are not here to resonate fully for everyone. So do remember to take what resonates and helps your personal situation and leave what does not. On that note, these energies can absolutely be swapped. So if you resonate more with the energy to my right than to my left, or if you're a cross watcher, then vice versa, just know that's totally fine and totally normal. Again, the point is to take what helps and leave what does not. All right, Virgo. On your side of this connection, you have fire with the Page of Wands in reverse. There is a lot of intense energy that you have toward this person. Now, this could be a fire sign, but it doesn't have to be, because I'm also reading this as like there's this fiery energy that you have toward this connection. That could be, you know, passion, anger, just like an intense energy. Now, this Page of Wands in reverse energy is talking about kind of some inner child energy. This connection in particular is really bringing up a lot of feelings that you may have also experienced in childhood. That seems a little deep for the first message, so we'll see when we dive into tarot. But I do feel like there's a reason that the energy that you have towards this person is so intense, and I feel like it stems from that Page of Wands in reverse energy. Now, this person has veiled with the Sun in reverse. So this person is definitely holding back from this connection. I feel like they haven't taken the mask off. Maybe you've seen glimpses of this person with the mask off, but right now they're kind of masking themselves with the Sun in reverse with their ego here. I feel like this is a person that has a tendency to act from ego because they do struggle with vulnerability. And I feel like maybe that's what, I don't know, that's why there's this intensity behind it, because you're like, man, if you could just show up as your most authentic self, like this could be such a good connection. But I just feel like they struggle with being able to fully do that. So we'll see, what they're really dealing with when we dive in. But then in between this connection, gosh, my nails are too long right now. I just got them done last week, and I don't like how long they are. In between this connection, you have transformation, the Eight of Swords in reverse. This Eight of Swords in reverse is actually my favorite card in tarot. This talks about releasing yourself from the limiting beliefs that keep you repeating old cycles. So this connection and the purpose of it really is to put potentially both people through a pretty heavily freeing transformation of some sort. I don't know exactly what that means in regard to the connection, but I do see that there's a pretty intense purpose for this connection that goes a little bit deeper than just, if this is romantic, then just romantic, or if this is, even platonic, like just a friendship. Like there's something more going on with this connection and the purpose of it for your life. But let's see, Virgo, which I feel like that because of this level of intensity you have, like you're like, there has to be something, because I don't really feel like you felt much of this intensity, or you haven't really felt this way before. So let's start with fire and the Page of Wands in reverse. This is for Virgo's side of this connection to the person they are dealing with. This is for Virgo's side of this connection to the person they are dealing with. This is Virgo's side of the connection to this person. This is Virgo's side of this connection, please. Okay. Okay. I feel like for a long time, when it comes to this connection, so you have the Hangman in reverse, Justice, Three of Swords in reverse, Six of Wands in reverse. For a long time when it came to this person, I feel like you were really hoping that things that this person was going to open up, that this person was going to change, that their mask was going to come off for good, or at least more consistently than it has. And I feel like I don't think that ever happened, or hasn't happened yet. And I feel like that has brought you, that's where like a lot of this intensity has come from, is it's just like there's this energy of like, man, like why can't you just be yourself, or why can't you just let me love you, or why can't you just be, you know, vulnerable? And it's made it really hard for you to kind of let go and surrender to the flow of this connection, because I do feel, I don't necessarily know if, I can't tell, and usually I can tell whether or not a connection is like together or not, but I can't really tell. This connection feels very confusing. I feel like you definitely feel like you've gotten the short end of this stick here, and you're kind of in this like healing phase, but you could be in a healing phase where you're still involved with this person. I feel like that aspect doesn't really matter as much as what the message, like the lessons that are going to kind of come through in this reading. But I do feel like the message that's coming through right now that is the strongest is that you have a lot of hope, had a lot of hope of this person, you know, changing, maybe seeing their potential and kind of hoping for their potential, but never, that potential never fully being realized. And that kind of leaving you with these feelings of like, well, what do I do now? Or I can't keep going on like this, or maybe even feelings of resentment, things like that. So let's get more for Virgo's side of this connection. This is Virgo's side of the connection to the person they are dealing with. Okay. The World of the Emperor in reverse. Ooh, okay. And then the Ten of Wands. The Tower. And you have this King of Wands in reverse, so you could be dealing with fire sign. Again, you most definitely do not have to be, because this is another message as well. So King of Wands in reverse is really like self-doubt. Doubt in what it is that you're capable of, what it is that you're deserving of. Really more capable, or like, yeah, what you're going to be able. What I'm getting at is this person has kind of instilled a little bit of self-doubt in you in some way, shape, or form, Virgo. I feel like they have made you feel maybe that you're not good enough, because maybe they, you know, I feel like their lack of vulnerability has in turn made you feel not good enough, or not even not good enough, but like not good enough for them. It's more than that, because I do feel like with the Emperor in reverse, there is an aspect of trying to control this connection. I'm just gonna say it. Trying to make this connection be something that it isn't, or trying to make this person be something that they are incapable of being at this time. And this is where I often kind of give that reminder that you can't force someone to change. And that's a really, really hard concept to come to terms with, because when we see someone's potential, we often think that we do know what's best for them. And we think that we know what can help them, you know, the most. And ultimately, like, we can say like, oh, if you know, if you're able to step into your full potential or be fully vulnerable, then I can, you know, we can finally have a loving connection or have a healthy connection. But what that actually does is create more disappointment for ourselves, because the more that we try to take someone's healing into our own hands, the more disappointed we get, because the other person will never heal for anybody but themselves. But then in turn, we can start to take that personally, because we can feel like, well, why won't they change? Why won't they heal for me? Why won't they, you know, communicate or be vulnerable? And we can start to feel like it is our fault, or like it has anything to do with us, when in reality, it's this person's inability to show up for themselves, which creates their inability to show up for you. And so there is a little bit of a cycle that you're stuck in here, where it's almost like, especially with this Ten of Wands, it's like you've taken on the burden of this person's healing in a way. Because I do feel like you see this potential, which again is really difficult when you see someone's potential. But the most loving thing that we can do sometimes is just let people be who they are and adjust our proximity accordingly. Not sometimes, that's all the time. Letting people be who they are. This is Virgo's side of this connection. But remember, unconditional love doesn't mean unconditional tolerance. Virgo's side of this connection to the person they are. Oh my goodness. Okay, hang on. I'm going to reshuffle that. That was my fault. This is Virgo's side of the connection to the person they are dealing with. Virgo's side of the connection. There we go. Ooh, okay, Queen of Pentacles. So there you are. 7 of Wands, Queen of Wands in reverse, 3 of Wands in reverse. Okay. There's that 10 of Wands again, 2 of Wands. Okay. So whether you're male or female, here you are, Virgo, showing up as the Queen of Pentacles. You have the 7 of Wands, this Queen of Wands in reverse again. There's a fire sign, but there's also another message attached. And then you have this 3 of Wands in reverse. The most important thing for you right now in this connection, Virgo, is to make sure that you're setting boundaries. Now, I say that and I feel like that brings a lot of uncertainty or like fear to your energy, because I feel like you're super not used to that. I feel like you are not used to standing up for yourself and almost like demanding that you get treated the way that you deserve, or demanding that people give you what it is that you need in connections in a loving way, right? I don't mean demanding in like I feel like that can have a negative connotation to it, but that's not what I mean. Because whether or not you realize it, you have built up quite a bit of resentment for this person. And there's like this anger that you kind of have toward them because of their treatment towards you. And I feel like that is in turn what's kind of keeping you attached, because they've made you feel unlovable. They've made you feel undeserving. They've made you feel not good enough. And now you're looking for them to heal the wound that they created. Though it could be a wound that existed from childhood, feelings of being unlovable or, you know, not deserving or whatever the case is. But if they brought it to the surface and now you're looking for them to heal it. And so what that can often look like is us almost like not standing up for our own needs, because we're so worried and focused about getting, you know, toward getting the other person to love us or to see our worth or to show us that we're deserving, that we often forget that we don't need anyone to show us those things, and we need to know those things and act accordingly. But that's a very difficult thing to do, especially if you have these deep-seated wounds of feeling undeserving, you know, feeling unlovable. And so I feel like what's really coming through right now is there's this need to understand that it is very much in your comfort zone to be in connections where you are getting, you know, taken advantage of, or where you aren't treated all that well. And it's in your comfort zone because it's what you've experienced for so long. And though that cycle is very painful for you, it's very predictable. And your ego loves predictability. Your ego loves to know exactly how things are going to feel. And so sometimes it'll keep you stuck in situations that aren't good for you, because it will make you think that, you know, there's a part of you that wants things to get better, right? Because remember, 95% of our movements, choices, and decisions stem from our subconscious. Only 5% of the way that we interact with our reality is conscious. So 5% of you might be like, oh, I want things to get better. But 95% of you has these beliefs of I'm not deserving, or I'm unlovable, or I'm not capable of love, or the love that I desire doesn't exist, or whatever those beliefs are, and then is acting accordingly to those limiting beliefs, which, you know, we have in the middle. The point of this connection is to release yourself from those. And so, you know, 5% of you might be like, oh, I want to be in a connection where I'm loved and I'm deserving of love, but the 95% of you doesn't believe that. And so it's staying in connection, and specifically with this person, where you don't feel loved. You don't feel like you are getting what you deserve. And I specifically don't think that you are being treated very well, Virgo. I don't feel like this connection, like, it's not even that they don't give you what you deserve. I feel like they make you feel less than what you are. So not only do they not add to you, but they take away from you. And I feel like that, and we'll get to this person's energy in a second. I'm not saying this is a bad person. They could very well just be in a hurt place, and hurt people. But I do feel like there is this need for you to make sure that you are really setting boundaries right now and standing up for yourself, which again, I feel like is very difficult for you, especially if you're not used to it, because that can feel very, it can feel selfish, or it can feel scary, because you might be so afraid of losing the person that you don't want to speak up for what it is that you believe you deserve. And that within itself gets you stuck into that cycle of putting someone else before yourself, right? You never ever want to do that. All right, this is Virgo's side of this connection to the person they are dealing with. Virgo's side of this connect. Wow, okay. These cards are really just kind of speaking today. You have the Hierophant, the Knight of Cups, the Lovers, and the Wheel of Fortune with the Two of Cups. Okay. you do have a lot of love for this person. There's absolutely no doubt about that. You have a lot of love for them. I feel like you see them possibly as like a soulmate kind of energy. Maybe you've labeled them as a soulmate or a twin flame, which has created a whole nother aspect of complications. But I do feel like there's you have a lot of love for this person, and that makes it really hard to put yourself first and to stand up for yourself and to set boundaries, because you might be again, like, more afraid of losing them or more afraid of hurting them, and so you're willing to kind of bear the hurt yourself. There's a need to, with the Hierophant here, there's a lot to be learned from this connection, first and foremost. But second of all, there's a need to shift your perspective on this person's role in your life. Not saying that this person, that there's not potential here, okay? But what I feel like you're needing to focus on right now is more about how this connection to this person is trying to get you to see your own worth by triggering the parts of you that don't feel good enough. So if you start to feel like this person, treats you like you're not deserving or treats you like you're not good enough, what can you do to not allow this person to affirm the beliefs that you're not deserving and not good enough, and instead, act in alignment with the knowledge that you are good enough and you are deserving, right? So instead of, if someone comes to you and says something, like if this person comes to you and says something not so nice to you, instead of just kind of, keeping quiet and taking it because you don't want to start a fight, saying something along the lines of, I don't like the way you just spoke to me and I'm not comfortable with this conversation and I'm going to remove myself now. Really making sure that you are sticking up for yourself almost. Like, that's what this feels like. It's like sticking up for yourself or standing up for yourself, or not, like it goes further than just setting boundaries. It's like using your voice, like saying what it is that you need and deserve, and understanding that you do have a lot of love for this person, right? But you have to love yourself just as much, if not more. And right now, Virgo, you've really struggled with that. And I feel like that's because you've been in a lot of situations where you've never really gotten to experience relationships that do benefit from you putting and loving yourself first. I can tell you firsthand that, the relationship that I'm currently in, first healthy relationship I've ever been in my life, best relationship I've ever been in my life. And the only reason I was able to build a connection with this person that I'm currently with is because I've learned to love myself first. I never would have been able to attract or sustain the connection that I'm in if I didn't love myself first. And that included standing up and walking away from connections in the past that didn't align with what I knew I was ultimately deserving of. And so I say that to say that, oftentimes we fear losing someone to the extent that we don't stand up for ourselves, or that we don't stick up for our beliefs of what we know to be true, which is, we know we're deserving and we know we're lovable. Instead, we allow our limiting beliefs of not believing that we're lovable or deserving to control us and say, if this person doesn't love me, if this person doesn't show up for me, if this person doesn't heal and get to their potential so we can get to our potential, then I'm never going to receive the love that I deserve. And that within itself is the limiting belief that's keeping you from the love that you deserve. All right, Virgo's side of this connection to the person they are dealing with. This is for Virgo's side of this connection, please. Virgo side of this connection. Okay. Investing in this connection as you have been, is going to continue to keep you stuck in this cycle. Sometimes the people that don't treat us well are the hardest connections to walk away from. It's interesting how we do that, because oftentimes we look for the people who make us feel the most unlovable to make us feel lovable. Because what we say is, if this person can see my value, if this person can love me, anybody can. And we look to the people that make us feel unlovable to love us the most because we want them to heal our wound of feeling unlovable. Oftentimes when we're in situations like that, that person can be pretty much a reflection of all of the people who've made you feel unlovable in the past. And that's why I talked about with this Page of Wands in reverse, this person could possibly treat you very similarly to how you were treated as a child from someone who made you feel unlovable. It's kind of getting deep into it, but I do really feel like, because with the Justice in reverse, like, you have not received what you deserve in this connection. And not only have you not received what you deserve, you have, it's almost like, it's not that you're putting a lot in and getting nothing back, which you very well could be, but it's you're putting a lot in and getting a lot of really unhealthy energy back. And that's because this person's coming from that place of ego, right? And again, I'm not saying this is a bad person. We'll see, what they're kind of dealing with when we dive into it. But I feel like the more that you invest in this connection, the more you're actually blocking yourself from closing the cycle here. And it's investing in it as is. It's accepting the treatment that you've been receiving. It's not standing up for yourself. It's not setting boundaries. It's not, allowing this person to be who they are and adjusting your proximity accordingly. It's, if you continue to invest in the way that you have, you're going to stay stuck in this cycle, and you're never going to be able to break out of it and finally be able to experience the love that you are ultimately deserving of. Which is, it's hard. I'm not sitting here saying it's easy to do, especially when you do have a lot of love for someone, but you have to look at the connection with that kind of a sense of honesty almost, and really see it through the lens of like, is this person loving me like I deserve, or am I hoping they eventually do? Because those are two very different things. This is Virgo's side of this connection to the person they are dealing with. This is Virgo's side of the connection to the person they are dealing with. The Empress, the Fool, and the Eight of Pentacles. Okay. When you release your expectations of how you look there, okay, there's the World and then the Ten of Cups in reverse. This is a really cool message. When you get to a point where you're able to release your expectations and ultimately say, I don't need this person to love me, because I know I'm loving, or I'm deserving of love for who I am, regardless of this person's love toward me. And again, then align your movements, choices, and decisions with that belief, right? I'm loving and I'm deserving of love, and I know that anyone that doesn't make me feel that way is not deserving of being in my life. When you can start to make decisions that align with that belief, which is hard, it's really, really hard to do, but when you can, there's a new beginning for you that is so much better than anything that you're hoping for through this current situation that you're stuck in, because you have this world here, right? This is closing out a cycle, but you're with the Ten of Cups in reverse, you're going to have to release your expectations. And the Empress, learn how to put yourself first. Learn how to put your needs and your desires first. I often have people ask me, isn't that selfish, to put yourself first always? And my answer to that is no. I mean, sure, there will come times when other people's needs do need to be ahead of your own, but if you don't fill your cup first, if you don't love yourself first, you cannot show up for anybody in this world to the fullest extent as your best self. You can only give as much love as you give to yourself first. You can only care about, love, respect other people to the extent that you do those things for yourself first. So actually, putting yourself first is the most selfless thing that you can do, because it fills your cup up first, so then you have more to give to other people. And when you're in a healthy relationship, you give and you receive, so you're not in situations that are constantly emptying your cup. This connection is constantly emptying your cup. And I think you know that here, Virgo. All right, but let's see what this person is dealing with. I feel like I have a lot of empathy for this person. Veiled with the Sun in reverse. What is this person dealing with? This is this person's energy toward Virgo, please. This person's energy toward Virgo, please. This person's energy toward Virgo. Okay. Avoiding the inevitable, the need to go within. This person's avoiding the inevitable inner work. This person's avoiding doing, like, I talked about how they're kind of, holding back from this connection. They're coming from a place of ego. They don't really have much of a desire to do anything about that. And I feel like that's where you're needing to be brutally honest with yourself, because people don't heal for other people. People don't, and that has nothing to do with your worth. It doesn't mean that you are not good enough, that you're not deserving enough, that even that this person doesn't care for you. That's not what that means. What it does mean is this person is too afraid to face their own demons, and they're going to do anything in their power to avoid that, even if that means hurting other people. And it doesn't mean that they don't care about you. It means that they don't know how to love to the extent that you deserve, because they don't love themselves in that way. And so they are kind of avoiding doing kind of that inner work, taking that inner journey, taking accountability for the ways that they've messed up. I don't really see them really doing a whole lot of that as of recently. This person's energy toward Virgo, and we cannot sit around and wait for other people to heal to be happy. You cannot do that to yourself, Virgo. This person's energy toward Virgo, please. See, there it is. The Lovers in reverse with the Ten of Swords. They have a tendency to hurt themselves and hurt others because they don't feel deserving of love. With the Lovers in reverse, they don't feel deserving. And so they then make that feeling of not being deserving everybody else's problem. Because, and you know, they're not doing the inner work. And I'm not, again, I had someone comment, was like, I feel like you're always really mean to this person, and I'm not ever trying to be. I do feel like, because my readings often come from a place of, my intention is your connection to the person that you're needing to learn the most from right now, and karmic connections are often our biggest teachers, which means I do feel like I often pull a lot of karmic connections, or at least karmic cycles and connections, which is why I feel like the stories can feel very similar, just kind of looking at, you know, the lessons that need to be learned on both sides. It usually comes in a runner-chaser dynamic. And so I'm not at all trying to be hateful towards this person. In fact, I've been this person before. I've been the person who didn't know how to give and receive love with an open heart, who acted from ego, who hurt other people because I didn't know how to not. I didn't know how to love anybody because I didn't know how to love myself. And so I often looked for people who could fill my cup without having any idea how to fill theirs. And so that's why it's funny that I'm saying this, because I did start by saying I have a lot of empathy for this person, I can tell. And I feel like that's because I've been there. And it all came from the fact that I did not have the feelings of being lovable and deserving myself. And I made that other people's problem. I looked for other people to make me feel loving or deserving of love and make me feel lovable. And when they couldn't do that, I would then sabotage the connection, because it was almost like I was looking for something in people that no one was able to provide, because nobody can heal us. Nobody can make us feel deserving of love, can make us feel lovable. Nobody. And if you look for that in another person, eventually that person is going to disappoint you. And so I feel like that's kind of what this person has a tendency to do, is they look for these feelings of being lovable and being deserving in other people. And look, there's the mirror there, Virgo, because you are also looking for this person to make you feel lovable and feel deserving. So there is a mirror there. I'm not saying that these energies are the same or that you're on the same vibration or anything like that, but there is a mirror here. And there's a need to see that you can probably see all day long how this person doesn't know that they're, you know, deserving, or doesn't know that they're lovable, and that's why they don't show up as their authentic self. But how are you doing the same thing, right? So there's a lot kind of going on in this connection here, but I do feel like with the Ten of Swords, like this person doesn't know, they don't know how to be what it is that you deserve. And it's not that they don't want to be, it's that they don't know how, and they're not capable of it, and they're not really willing to do the work to get there. And that doesn't have anything to do with you. They're more afraid of facing themselves than they are of losing you. And that does not mean that they don't care about you. It means that they are more afraid of having to do the work on themselves, to learn to love themselves, to learn to show up in a connection in a healthy way, than they are of losing you. They're probably more afraid of that than pretty much anything. So it's not something to be taken personally. This person's energy toward Virgo, please. Doesn't mean they won't eventually maybe be open to it, but as of right now, it doesn't look like they're really willing to do a lot of the work. Four of Swords in reverse with the Two of Cups. See, there it is. That's exactly what I was saying. They have a lot of love here, right? With the Two of Cups. They do. They do have a lot of love for you. But with the Four of Swords in reverse, it's almost like like, their soul is like, I don't want to say burnt out. They're not burnt out from this connection or burnt out from you. It's just, it feels like they're in such like defense mode that the love that they have, the fear that they have of facing their kind of demons, if you will, overpowers the love that they have for you. And that is because they are letting fear win. And that has nothing to do with your worth or what you're deserving of, or even what this person, like what their intentions are, right? Like, I don't feel like this person has intentions of hurting you. I do feel like they are allowing their ego to kind of take control and allowing their ego to be the driving force of their decisions, and their ego is going to get them into a lot of trouble. Now, remember, we kind of talked about your ego too, and how your ego is trying to keep you trapped in repeating old cycles, right? So again, there's a little bit of a mirror here. This person's energy toward Virgo. This person's energy toward Virgo, please. Could be dealing with a water sign. I think I also saw the Queen of Wands, which is a fire sign, which we talked about fire already. You don't have to be. I'm just calling them as I see them. I might even have missed some. All right, you have the 10 of Wands in reverse, the 6 of Wands, and the Judgment in reverse. This is where I really can see that this person struggles to take accountability. I feel like they do have a tendency to kind of put their, like if they treat you poorly, they're gonna make you think it's your fault. Oh, you made them mad, or you did something to hurt them, or whatever the case is. I have noticed that the connections that are the healthiest in your life are the people that will stay kind even in arguments. It's the people that will respect you and will love you even in times where they're angry. And if you are not experiencing that from this person, if this person disrespects you or tries to, ghost you and tries to make you feel all anxious and nervous so that you chase them, whatever the tactics might be, that's not what you deserve. Okay, that's mind games, that's manipulation, that's control tactics. That's not love. And it's not that they don't have love for you. Again, remember, but their actions are going to always speak louder than their intention, right? They have this intention of wanting to show up for you and give you love, but the way that they act is that they don't do that. They give you, I feel like, honestly, like more like anxiety and stress and feelings of unlovableness than they do like actually make you feel good about yourself. And the people that are supposed to be in your life are supposed to make you feel good about yourself. They're not supposed to be the source of your feelings of self-assurance and things like that. They're not going to be the source, but they're supposed to add to that, right? They're not supposed to take away from that. Now, with the 10 of Wands in reverse, the reason that happens is because this person is taking their insecurities and they're putting them on you. They don't feel lovable, they don't feel lovable, they don't feel good enough. Well, then they're going to do whatever they can to make you not feel lovable and make you not feel good enough, because they're going to try to get you to stoop to their level. And again, I'm not trying to be rude to this person. Again, I've been this person. Like, I feel like I'm in this person's mind right now. Like, I get it. But it's not what you deserve. It isn't. And you know that. This person's energy toward Virgo. And the truth of the matter is, Virgo, the more you enable someone's behavior, the less likely they will be to change. 8 of Swords, Strength, Justice. This is all in reverse, I'm pretty sure. No, it's not, because there's a 3 of Swords in reverse. No? Okay, yeah, it's upright. And the 8 of Cups in reverse. Oh, this is kind of talking about... Okay. Sorry. So this person has a bit of a false sense of confidence. Again, I'm not digging at this person, but they do. They have they love who their ego portrays them to be. Maybe they like how successful they are, attractive they are, how many friends they have. They like the social circle they have, the lifestyle they lead. They like all those things about themselves. But this person does not like themselves. They do not love who they are at their core. They do not love the person that they are. They love the person that their ego portrays them to be, right? They love the things about them on the outside. And I feel like they might have a tendency to use those, I would say, against you, but I feel like they definitely use those as a crutch. They definitely use their ego as a fallback plan. I don't know. There's more to it than that, but it feels like because I'm pretty sure this person knows on some level that they are not treating you well, but then I feel like they use the ego, like the crutch I was just talking about, to cover up or almost like justify their treatment of you. I'm trying to think of an example, but nothing's coming to mind. And that's their limiting beliefs. So, and I also feel like they use it's like they don't feel lovable, right? But then they use their ego as a crutch to make them feel lovable. Like they don't feel like they're deserving of, love for who they are, but, oh, well, they're really attractive, or they make a lot of money, or it doesn't even need to be those things. Like it could be other things too. Like they have this inflated sense of self to cover up the fact that they actually don't like themselves at all. And I've been there. I get it. I have empathy for this person. I've been this person. I've been this person. I get it. And the best thing you can do for those people is not allow them to control you. Not allow their need to control other people to include you. All right, this person's energy toward Virgo, please. Eight of Wands, Death. I think what this is saying, this to me feels like ego death. Like they have an inevitable ego death headed their way. It's gonna happen. I mean, I went through it. I went through it basically by being in a relationship with someone who was the reflection of who I had been in relationships. Like it's gonna happen to them eventually. But it's not going to happen if you keep enabling the way that they treat you by continuing to invest in this as you have, right? And who knows when this is going to happen, but I do think that you can be sure that you're going to get your justice. You're going to get what you deserve. It's like the best revenge is living well, right? Choosing yourself, putting yourself first, moving forward with your life the best you can, one step at a time. It's not always going to be easy. Healing's not a linear journey, but doing that is going to get you farther than trying to make this be something that it isn't, and that it isn't capable of being right now. All right, we're going to hop on over to the extended. We have transformation with the Eight of Swords in reverse. I'm going to pull 9 different messages, and I have an advice card to pull at the end. Remember, this is the purpose of the connection, and what is the best way to move forward in alignment with your higher self. Any information on that is in the description box below. Otherwise, Virgo, thank you so very much, as always, for your support of my channel. I do hope that this reading helped and resonated with you in a way that you were needing today. And as always, Virgo, I wish you nothing but love and healing on your journey moving forward. All right, bye, Virgo.